dating an avoidant can be a pain in the ass, and I know what I'm talking because I'm a former avoidant. In this video, I'm gonna share with you the ways for you to create a sense of longing with that person and sort of break away from this dynamic of push-pull that we often find ourselves getting into when we are anxious and dating someone who's avoidant, or when we are avoidant and dating someone who has an anxious attachment style. In this video, I will reveal that secret that will help you to finally transform your relationship to something more stable, healthy, and sustainable. Jiggle.
igetmyexback.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
First of all, let's describe a little bit the characteristic of an avoidant person. As I mentioned at the beginning, I used to be avoidant. So if you have any questions about being an avoidant, or your partner is avoidant and you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. There's a link somewhere in the description to get in touch with me and ask as many questions as you like. You can also use the comment section, obviously. So people who are avoidant, they are usually emotionally distant due to past trauma. When I say trauma, there's also micro trauma. If I take my example, I haven't had a very difficult childhood, but I was raised with the idea that I need to take care of myself and do my own thing and rely on myself. That's how I sort of built my working model. That's how we refer it in attachment theory. Another very problematic problem with avoidant people is that they are not aware of their avoidant tendencies. When you're an avoidant person, you tend to feel that I'm right and everybody's wrong. Anxious people tend to see the other way around. I'm wrong and everybody's right. And so the problem with that mindset, which offers a lot of benefit, thinking that everybody's wrong and I'm right, but it does have an impact when it comes to relationship and when it comes to personal development. Because in a way, I wouldn't say avoidant people have a fixed mindset, but there are elements in the characteristic of someone who's avoidant, thinking this is how I am and I have to live with that because I used to grow up fine, having this characteristic of dismissing things, of avoiding conflict, and it worked. For example, for me, it worked for many years. And so it's very hard for them to realize that they have insecurities and also the ability to dismiss emotions. Often they perceived it as I manage my emotions, which is very different. And if you go through therapy, you learn how to cope and understand your emotions. It took me a while to label my emotions. I only knew 3 emotions before I started therapy. And so their behavior would create an imbalance in relationships, this famous push-pull, because they are secretive, because they keep their partner at a distance, because they bottle up their emotions. We want to know more, regardless whether we are secure or anxious. Obviously, when you are anxious, we want to know more, and we feel unsettled when we can't control what they're thinking, when we don't feel we understand each other. And any of their action we might perceive them as directed to us. So when they ignore us or want some time away, we assume, or people who have an anxious attachment style will assume, it's because they don't love me. It's because I'm not appreciated. It's because I don't matter. Now, the challenge when it comes to dealing with an avoidant pattern is, so how can we create that sense of longing, that desire? Very often we have the feeling that I need to do more. I need to, the reason they don't text me back, the reason they don't want to see me, the reason they don't text me as often as I want is because I don't do enough. I don't show them how much I love them. The thing is, it's not by doing that you're going to attract an avoidant partner. It's by understanding that it requires balance. So you also have to understand that avoidant traits sometimes are temporary, especially when we transition from the honeymoon phase to sort of the passion stage, to the compassion stage of a relationship, 6 to 9 months. Very often we see people drifting apart. It's just because they need to rebalance the dynamic of the relationship. And so whenever we are distressed, whenever there's a crisis, whether it's within the relationship or outside of the relationship, we tend to act upon our insecurities. So anxious people will be more anxious, avoidant people will be more avoidant. And so when we have external factors or internal, so it could be, for example, having kids. External factors could be one of your parents is getting ill and you need to support them, you lost your job. We will have different ways of dealing with this. And these ways are very inherent to how we grew up as children and the relationship we had with our caregivers. And so avoidant people will dismiss things, will deal with things on their own, while anxious people, we want to vent, we want to connect, and want to get support and sort of, shoulder to cry, for example. The thing is, there's always this, and because we talk two different languages, on one end the avoidant and the other end the anxious, we misunderstand each other. The avoidant is always scared of getting hurt in relationship. You might agree that anxious as well, but the avoidant protect themselves by keeping apart, not investing too much. There's this belief that if I don't fall in love, if I don't let go and give myself or be vulnerable, I can't get hurt, which makes sense in a way. And that's a coping mechanism that's very maladaptive when it comes to building a relationship with someone. Because building a relationship with someone, especially if you want to have a future with that person, it comes by being vulnerable, by sharing how we feel, by connecting at a deeper level. And so they will struggle to recognize when they're with the right person. Because again, they will default, I'm right, everybody's wrong. And so because they can't really overcome this, they will always feel like she's not the right person, he's not the right person. With this idea, and that's from the book Attach, that I would recommend you to read if you're into attachment theory. I wanted to write a book about attachment theory, and then I realized this book is great. I don't think I can add any more value. So I'm writing something about avoidance, my journey as an avoidant, but it's not a call to action. There's nothing to sell because I'm still writing it. But it's really about understanding that avoidant, they will focus on the shortcomings of their partner. And so sometimes they will idealize their ex because that partner is not with them anymore and don't have the pressure of the relationship. Sometimes they will idealize the next partner. And so it's very important for you to understand that it's really the fear of commitment, the fear of letting go. And so it's really important to understand that fear. It's not directed towards you, it's not because of you. Sometimes we take things very personally when we date someone avoidant, and that's normal. Really try to take a step back, learn about attachment theory, understand the things you need to do to be more secure, because by being more secure, your partner will be more secure. Let me explain. First of all, there's an element of timing. When you put pressure on an avoidant, and whether it's commitment, whether it's other type of pressure, you will pull him back. And so very often when we feel like, as I discussed at the beginning, that person is not interested or he doesn't see my value, therefore I need to show more, I need to be there more often, I need to write to them more often, I need to show them how much I love them. This is not how an avoidant will feel loved. He will feel threatened. It might be, when I said it really doesn't make sense for someone who's anxious, because someone who's anxious really believes in the sort of the gesture, the grand gesture, the not only the gift, but like really strong words, really big and bold moves, and love and proof of love that you might see in romantic comedies. So it's really important that if you want to create a sense of longing, to build up desire, to maintain desire with an avoidant person, it's by actually providing space. It's very counterintuitive. It is not, if you're an anxious person, it's not how you perceive intimacy, how you perceive desire. But trust me, it's really by creating that sense of balance, by it's on and off. So you might be perceiving it as, but that's not what I want in a relationship. And it's true. You have to really, and we'll discuss about that in the end, you really need to know your boundaries. You really need to know what you want and what you don't want. I don't want you to end up in a relationship where your partner is breadcrumbing you, is not investing in the relationship. You have every right to be with someone who wants to be with you, as simple as that. And so understanding that that person has some avoidant traits is really a challenge to yourself of how can I be more secure? How can I self-sustain myself? So it's one element before I move on to this part is the psychological perspective. When you try to control things, when you try to make decisions for them, they will fear that you're trying to manipulate them, right? And they would fear that, and very often in relationship, the tension is coming from the battle of egos. I want to control, I want to be right. They need to trust, they need to believe in the relationship. And when I say believe, is believe in the fact that we respect each other's needs. Right? So it's something that perhaps you need to discuss, perhaps it's implied, but it's really finding ways for you to collaborate as a team. I often mention that people fall in love with their opposite because they complement each other. So don't blame yourself for being different or that your partner or your ex is different than you. This is how you build effective team, people who complement each other. So it's really finding how you can collaborate on those terms, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing their strengths and their weaknesses, and making it work. So creating a sense of belonging really implies patience and understanding. And it's more about understanding than patience. Patience is more about like understanding that it's not because you don't speak with them for 2 days that they're going to forget you or that they're going to lose desire. It's the other way around. Avoidant would value things they don't have, perhaps even more than anxious. Few tips. So really maintain healthy distance without fear. So let go of this belief, of these ideas that if I let go, if I don't speak with them, if I don't see them, they're going to forget me. They're going to find someone else. Very often people who are anxious, they develop a strong sense of jealousy. It's something that is assessed when you take the quiz to know your attachment style, which is in the description of this video if you're interested. The trust, again, really about trust. You might be thinking, I'm anxious, I can't trust that person. Understand that for an avoidant person, they also need to trust whether you will respect their boundaries, whether you will respect their need for space. So it's really about on your end, because at this stage it's the only thing you can control, how you can manage not to be over demanding, having realistic needs, and we'll discuss about that, because it's really about self-love. Very often when I speak with people and I have consultation with anxiously attached people, usually it's by tweaking this thing that you create a whole range of whole new dynamic with the partner. Self-love is important because when you start focusing on self-love, when you start to nurture self-love, then you don't feel the need, you don't feel the urge to be demanding, to focus your attention on your partner. I'm not saying that you should ignore your partner. It's really about finding balance. Being or having a secure attachment style, it's really finding the right balance between avoidant and anxious. And you will always be a bit anxious, or you will always be a bit avoidant. You'll never be like totally secure, especially as I discussed under stress. When there's an issue, we would default to our insecurities. But it's really about understanding that whenever you find yourself being triggered, how can I refocus my attention on me? What are the ways for me to be more confident? To perhaps diversify my sources of love and sort of attention and affection, that's the word I was looking for. It's not only with your partner, it could be with your friends, it could be with your family. Very often we find ourselves like being only focusing on our partner, and that's very dangerous because that's creating a lifestyle that is over relying on one element. Our lives is about your health, your work, your your passion, your hobbies, your partner, your family, so many things. Your partner is one of them. Perhaps it's the most important one, but don't focus 99% of your attention on that person. So right now it's really about how you can build up, in a way, this image, this persona, in a way, of someone super confident, of someone who knows what they want. And that's what will attract someone avoidant. Right now it's really shifting from a mindset of, I need to get something from you. I need to get your attention. I'm going to poke you. And like we used to do on Facebook, I'm going to poke you so you see that I'm alive. 2, I'm actually on my own path. Of course, you're in my life, but I'm doing my own thing and I'm attracting you to me. I don't have to do anything. You're like honey and there are bees, kind of the image. You're the treasure they need to earn. That's how you create a sense of longing with an avoidant partner. So, first of all, understand that being avoidant can be just a phase. They are scared of the unknown, they try to protect themselves, maybe they're secure and they have an avoidant tendency. Don't draw into conclusion too quickly. Understand that the thing that you need to adjust is really about you. It's about self-love, it's about building confidence, it's about understanding how you can respect their boundaries and perhaps discussing about those boundaries. So it's really about how you can stress test this over time. So patience, understanding is key if you want to create that sense of longing. Also understand, and it's really the thing that I stress out in most of my videos, you're watching this video and you're trying to learn about your attachment, trying to learn how to be more secure, how to connect more effectively with someone avoidant. You also have the right to expect that your partner is doing the work. I'm an avoidant or former avoidant. I did the work. And I have cases of clients, partners, or sometimes I have few clients who are avoidant who are doing the work. So it's not an excuse. And I said at the beginning that avoidant, they don't know if they're avoidant or why they're avoidant or why they're acting this way. Perhaps it's good to have a conversation on that, not being judgmental, but to sort of share to them what is attachment theory. So they understand and they're in this mindset of growth mindset of, I want to learn, I want to grow, I don't want to suffer anymore, I don't want to make people suffer around me, I want to be able to connect with people at a deeper level. So trust in love. It sounds very cliche, but that's the thing. Trust in love. If you're with the right person, you shouldn't overthink. It's really about adjusting those few things. Perhaps you need to heal some of your insecurities, traumas that you've had in the past. Once you've done it, trust me, things will be easier. Perhaps you'll realize that that partner is not right for you and you need someone more secure, someone who knows what they want. Perhaps by doing this work, you will inspire this person to finally work at connecting at a deeper level. And that will create a sense of longing. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
igetmyexback.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.